name is Noble Shark, and today we're reacting to horror games based on true events by Morbid for Fun. And I kind of want to check this video out because it's made like 2 years ago. I still want to check it out. But yeah, without further ado, let's hope I don't want to really be with time right now. But yeah, anyway, without further ado, let's do this. Jump, 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 click.
We have all played horror games. We have jumped from jump scares and logged
Yep.
off because we couldn't handle the scares.
I
But if
have.
this happens to you in real life, you can't pause, you can't log off, and especially once it catches you, you can't restart. Today, I'll be talking about horror games based on true events. What's up guys, welcome back, and today I'll be talking about horror video games based on true events because this will be a spin-off video to my last video, which instead of talking about horror movies based on true events, I will be talking about horror games based on true events. And by the way, before this video does start, I just have to say thank you so much because the channel has officially hit 10,000 total views.
Congrats,
So thank
man.
you to
I mean,
everybody
it's
viewing my
made a
videos,
long time
and
ago, so it makes
yeah,
sense. So
I
I just have
know
to say thanks.
60% of those views came from Tov, but I still made the video and I should still take some credit, you know what I mean? But thank you so much for the support,
I see him.
and also don't forget to like and subscribe, and also share this video
that?
on your Instagram story and tag me at
Minecraft in this
Morbid for Fun,
background?
because
Yeah.
in all my
You
videos
can go
I
check
tell
them out on your
myself
own
that
time, but
I will promote
yeah.
my Instagram, but I just always forget to
I
do
will do
it.
that too,
I
but
don't know why, so
I
make
won't.
sure
I
to
really
follow
won't
me
to.
over there because
But
I post
one thing I will do
the
is
weirdest things as possible
I hope I
for
can
no
censor that, but
particular
if
reason.
I don't,
So
then
other than
it's
that,
good.
let's get straight into this video. Fears of Fathom Home Alone. Fears of Fathom Home Alone is a new indie horror game, and this game has recently blown up, with many top gaming YouTubers playing this game already. In the game, you're home alone and somebody breaks in. If the intruder finds you, he would kill you. This video game is claimed to be based on a true story, but while researching it, I couldn't really find anything on this. When you search up, "Is Fears of Fathom Home Alone a true story?" it will just tell you that it is an episodic psychological horror game and it features multiple stories for the player to experience. What sets
Comment down below
Fears
if
of
you want me to
Fathom
play this game,
apart is the fact that its
because I might do
episodes are
it
based on
for
real life
game video.
stories. Even when I dig some more research, I still couldn't find any specific stories that the game is based on, so my conclusion is that the game is just based on home invasions in general, a crime that does happen in real life. So this game is not inspired by a particular story. It is just based on the fact that stuff like this does happen in real life. So it is kind of lame that there's no real story behind the making of this game. So yeah, this game isn't technically based on specific stories. It is based on home invasions in general, like I said. So stuff like this does happen in real life, and it is pretty realistic. So I wouldn't be too surprised if it was based on a true event or very similar to a true event. So game development.
I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I don't know what that sound. I'll do some weird sound. But anyway, let's get back to the video.
Developers of this game, don't sue me, but I assume that you guys just called it based on true events just to boost sales. But look, that is just my theory. While researching, I literally couldn't find anything that this game is based on a real specific story. But
I might check
hey,
it out.
if it is based on home invasions in general, it is pretty cool, not gonna lie. And the game is fun. Like, I would probably play, and I'm pretty sure the Home Alone episode is free to play.
We'll
Could
probably
be wrong, but if you guys have not yet played it, I recommend it because it does look like a pretty cool game. Chernobylite.
It's time for you to leave here. Now the ghost town.
Set in a hyper-realistic 3D scanned wasteland of Chernobyl's explosion zone, you'll take on the role of Igor, a physicist and ex-employee of the Chernobyl's power plant. Returning to Pripyat to investigate the mysterious disappearance of his fiancée 3 years prior, the wasteland was caused by a nuclear-botched power plant explosion that made the wasteland. Trying to find your fiancée, you have to fight a boss called the Black Stalker, and this game does seem pretty fun, and this game is actually based on the Chernobyl power plant explosion. Chernobyl is located in Ukraine, and before evacuation, it used to be the home of 14,000 people. Chernobyl was the first place in Ukraine to ever have nuclear power plants, but on April 26, 1986, Reactor 4 exploded and is now a ghost town where around 600 people still live there. Wildlife has
What?
taken over and animals live there more than humans. It is also the most radioactive place in the world. So yeah, Chernobylite, it is
Yeah,
based
yeah,
on the
yeah.
real
It is
events
most
of the
radioactive.
Chernobyl explosion,
You
but
know how
keep in
radioactive
mind,
works. It
after
will
the
last
two events, the video game is all
until
fiction,
the end
but
of
the
until the end
beginning
of
part
time.
is, yeah, it's
And that is
basically
saying
based
something.
on real life.
Yep.
Outlast 2.
Never played it, but it's too scary. Oh, God damn it.
In 2013, video game Outlast features a journalist named Blake Lingerman along with his wife Lynn, roaming the Arizona desert to explore the murder of a
Arizona.
pregnant woman only known as Jane
Arizona.
Doe.
It's so hot
Both
in
get
Arizona right
separated
now.
in a helicopter
So
crash, and
I'm
Blake
I
has
live
to
in
find his
Arizona.
wife
So
while
I'm just saying that
traveling
it's
through
so
the
hot over there.
village inhabited by a deranged sect that believes the end of days are upon them. This game
Wow.
is based on Jonestown Massacre. The story of Jonestown begins with Jones, a white
It's
minister
also
who
the
preached unconventional
it's
socialist and
also
progressive ideas to a
the
predominantly
make of the
African American
word of the making of
congregation
the
called
saying.
the
Don't
People's
drink the Kool-Aid.
Temple. At the height of its
If you
popularity
wonder what that
during the
is, you can look it up.
1970s, the temple had a membership estimated in the thousands and was courted by local politicians in San Francisco, including Harvey Milk. But by 1977, Jones had grown paranoid from the media scrutiny over the temple's suspicious
Oh.
activities. So he and his numerous followers moved to an agricultural settlement, aka Jonestown, in Guyana, the remote country east of Venezuela. Concerned over the welfare of those in the jungle encampment
Look in the
prompted
jungle.
U.S. Congressman Leo Ryan to visit Jonestown in November 1978. After checking out the settlement, Ryan was shot in the head along with 4 other people by temple gunmen. Following those murders, Jones commanded his
In peace.
followers to drink cyanide-laced punch, starting with the
Is what
children
made
first.
the words
In
"Don't
all,
drink the
there was
Kool-Aid."
over 900 people who died in Jonestown, including Jim Jones, who was found dead with a gunshot wound to his head. There is speculation that
Correct.
he may have taken his own life, or that his nurse Annie fatally shot him before she killed herself in the same
That's
manner.
good.
And before the 9/11 attack, this was considered the largest number of American civilian casualties in a single non-natural event. This was reported by Press 8 to Join. Philip
Don't get
Morin,
what plays in
the
blogging on this.
co-founder of Red Barrel Games, and the people behind Outlast 2 had an interview with Indie Games Level Up in which they discussed story inspiration of the game.
Right.
Morin stated in that interview that one of the main inspirations for Outlast 2 was a lot of research into the Jonestown Massacre, which he said has been dubbed to be the biggest mass suicide ever recorded in
Thanks
history.
for the censor, man.
Silent
I'm
Hill
pretty sure
2.
my video's gonna get through anyway.
Silent Hill 2 is about James, a man who is searching the demonic town Silent Hill for his dead wife Mary. He is doing this because he received a letter from Mary telling him she's waiting for him in Silent Hill. But as you play, you encounter James' demons, and you must discover the true reason why he came to Silent Hill. The town of Silent Hill, West Virginia, is actually based on Centralia, Pennsylvania. In May 1962, the town ordered to have the local landfill burn in an attempt to clean up the waste. The fire spread through unsealed tunnels and openings that led into an abandoned coal mine, and the waste turned into a raging fire, and the firefighters couldn't take out the fire. So the government decided to evacuate the town, and the fire still burns to this day after 60
I don't
years.
get why
If
they
you breathe
burned
that
it.
air, you could
Like,
potentially
they
die
burned
because you are literally
trash that
breathing
was
in
gonna
waste.
burn
And
anyway.
in 2002, the town's zip code was suspended by the United States Postal Service, and all roads leading into Centralia have since been barricaded. Silent Hill does follow this history to the exact detail, but instead of being plagued by a cult, witches, and multi-dimensional monsters, Centralia has been abandoned because the waste was lit on fire and the fire is still burning after
I don't get
60
why
years.
they don't get why they burned it. Though.
Colot. This game is actually very similar to the real event, since when you first start the game, you actually get the real story as the intro. Colot is an indie survival horror game developed by Polish developers IMGN.Pro, in which the player controls the protagonist who is tracing the steps of a group of 9 Russian college students who went missing in February 1959 on Kolat Shiakul. Igor led a journey to reach the peak of Otorin, a mountain in the northern Urals of Soviet Russia. The young man brought a team of 8 experienced hikers, many from the Ural Polytechnical Institute along with them for the adventure. Before he left, Igor had told his sport club members that he and his team would send a telegram as soon as they returned. But the telegram was never sent, and none of the hikers of the so-called Igor Pass incident were ever seen alive again. The Soviet government closed the case quickly and offered the only thin explanation, saying that the hikers died due to hypothermia because they were inexperienced and that maybe something like an avalanche was at fault. But with that explanation clearing up almost none of the lingering questions, amateur sleuths have been puzzling over the mystery of the Igor Pass incident for the last 60 years. And while Russia government did reopen the case in 2019, we still don't know exactly what happened on that snowy mountainside all those years ago. When their bodies were found in the coming weeks, their strange and gruesome injuries left investigators baffled and repulsed. Some were missing eyes, another was missing her tongue, and many were struck by a force comparable to that of a speeding car, but nobody could make sense of it.
Amazing helped Anthony.
Hang on, be back. Alright, I'm back. Just had the pod so I can get rid of that.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre Atari 2600.
Oh, Jesus.
This isn't anything new if you're coming from my last video where I did talk about horror movies based on true events, and in today's video, like you guys already know, I'm talking about horror games based on true events, and of course, the game is based on the movie and the movie is based on true events, so it's the same story, but I am not going to go over it because I already explained it in my last video, so go check that out after this one. But basically, Ed Gein was the inspiration of Leatherface, and Ed Gein is a cannibal dude who loved to make furniture out of women flesh. And to be honest with you guys, the only reason why I want to talk about this again briefly is because I just want to shit on Hollywood for making based on true event stuff, because yeah, sure, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is somewhat based on true events, but the title itself, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Number one, Ed Gein didn't technically do a massacre, and also chainsaws were not involved one bit. And lastly, Ed Gein is not even from Texas, so the movie title is pure BS. And yeah, I just want to say that again, even though I already said in my last video. So yeah, the movie title is pure BS. I mean, since this video is about video games, right now I barely looked at the gameplay of the Chainsaw Massacre for the Atari 2600, and dude, this gameplay, I mean, it's the Atari. What do you expect? Of course, it's going to be very pixelated, but I don't know why, but the sound effects used for the chainsaw and him running, I don't know, man. It just gives me the chills. This game isn't even scary at all, but like, the sound effects, dude, it just feels super weird. Granny.
Who's that I played? Oh, I want to play the game again.
Okay, so before this part of the video does start, I do want to mention that the Granny video game may not actually be based on true events. After recording, I decided to look back at my research, and the sources used aren't too credible. Only reason why this still made it in the video is because the story is still very interesting and real. I just want you guys to be aware that this may not be based on true events, but if it is true, then that's cool, I guess. AKA Moist Critical's favorite video game to speedrun. Please react to my videos, Moist Critical. Granny video game features an unnamed protagonist trapped in a house needing to solve puzzles while avoiding the Granny antagonist to get out of the house in a time period of only 5 to 6 days. This game is somewhat based on the Granny Ripper, an old Russian lady who murdered 13 people. A family discovered a trash bag with somebody's dismembered torso in their apartment complex. Checking the security cameras, you do see Tamara Samsonova, aka the Granny Ripper, dragging a trash bag with the torso. You can also see her with a pot, and it is claimed that inside the pot is the victim's head and lungs. You would never think that a grandma can ever do these kind of stuff. Well, it gets worse. When investigators entered her place, they saw a large knife covered in blood in the kitchen. Also, blood was splattered all over the bathroom as well. And police also found her diary, which inside is astrology and even black magic. In the diary, the Granny Ripper would write descriptive murders that she has committed dating back 20 years ago. One entry even described her most recent murder, which she was caught for, which was cutting her neighbor's body into pieces while
Oh
putting them
God.
into plastic bags.
Don't
It
you
is
don't want to
also
remind that.
assumed that she
You
was
don't
a
want to
cannibal, considering she would talk about cannibalism in her diary. When she was arrested, she was openly willing to confess to all of her crimes that she did in the past, and she is now locked up in prison, and
good.
she will also die in prison.
Worse than well,
Five Nights at
dirt.
Freddy's.
I'm Garen down. I say,
So this one isn't as disturbing, and no,
what the
this
hell?
is not based on the Aurora shooting, because when I was on TikTok trying to find some video ideas, I did stumble upon a few videos claiming that Five Nights at Freddy's is inspired by the Aurora shooting that did happen at Chuck E.
I
Cheese,
like to clarify too, which is not Final Fantasy is not based off of that.
which, by the way, the only
People
reason
are just
why I
dumb.
wanted to add this part into the video is because I just want to debunk it. But looking more into it, Five Nights at Freddy's is kinda based on Chuck E. Cheese, but not the way you'd expect. The reason why people think that the shooting can be the inspiration of Five Nights at Freddy's is because the victim's body count matches the same body count as the animatronics. 5 people, 5 animatronics. And also, MatPat, the game theorist, did talk about this in his first ever Five Nights at Freddy's video,
Mm-hmm.
which is meant to be a theory, not
Comment
a
down below if you want me
fact.
to.
And
Actually, never
also,
mind.
there is a lot of parallels to Chuck E. Cheese and Five Nights at Freddy's
Mm-hmm.
because the both mascots have the first letter as their first and last name. The animatronics on stage do look very similar. Chica looks like Helen, and Freddy has the same hat and bow tie as Chucky, and some of the other animatronics from the game does look like the animatronics from Showbiz Pizza, which was later bought out from CEC, which it is the Chuck E. Cheese company. So is Five Nights at Freddy's really
They call
based
it
on the
Chuck
Chuck E.
Cheese.
Cheese Aurora shooting? Absolutely not, but I will admit, it is a pretty huge coincidence. But I also wouldn't be too surprised if Scott did get some inspiration from the real
Influence.
Chuck E. Cheese restaurant itself, because if you're gonna make a game that is Five Nights at Freddy's, what other place has that in real life that you can take inspiration from? Chuck E. Cheese is like the only place in the US at least that has animatronics, sells pizza, and has a lot of games. So I wouldn't be too surprised if Scott did get some similarities from the actual Chuck E. Cheese restaurant, but hey, that is not a fact, it's just my little theory. But in case you're wondering the real inspiration for Five Nights at Freddy's, well, Scott Cawthon, the creator of FNAF, did have this like very old game that was criticized, saying that the characters in the game were very creepy, like animatronic like. So yeah, basically Scott got that criticism and turned it into Five Nights at Freddy's. But other than the scary part of Five Nights at Freddy's, it's basically the same thing as Chuck E. Cheese. So Scott himself did not say that he took some inspiration from the real Chuck E. Cheese restaurant, but you know what? The parallels, those cannot be coincidences
Uncanny.
in my opinion. But what do you guys think? And that is the end of horror
Mm-hmm.
games based on true events. And hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, because this video was actually very fun to make. And even reading through my research, which by the way, all my sources will be linked in the description below. I just want to make that
Mm-hmm.
clear. But yeah, reading through all of this was actually very fun.
Monday. Yeah.
I don't like to read, to be honest with you guys, but
Don't mind
I
that.
had fun.
I'll
I'll
probably
admit
cut that. I'll
that.
probably cut
And
that part
hopefully I
out.
can make more videos like this in the
Like,
future.
don't,
And
then
hopefully you guys also
don't even
enjoyed
tell
this
me
video,
about it.
and leave it a thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoy
Mm-hmm.
all my videos. I mean, if you haven't seen all my videos, I do recommend so, because so many of you guys love my videos, which does mean a lot to me. And also check me out on Instagram at Morbid for Fun if you want to see weird photos of me for some odd reason. But other than that, I'll see you guys in my next video. See you guys.
Oh, right there. Okay. I want to thank you guys for watching as well. Please subscribe to my channel or don't. Also, you can subscribe to Morbid for fun. His channel, sure, it's right here. You can search it up. You can just pause the video right here if you want to, and you can look at it that way. Anyway, video will be in the description down below. Please, never mind. See you guys next time, and also have a good day. Good, good. Goodbye. How to pause the video now? Oh yeah, yes.